Have you ever wanted your own TV show? Have you dreamed of showcasing your talent for the world to see? Well, now you can. Have your own TV show. For only $99, you can have your own 30-minute show. Not only will you be seen in the Detroit area, but you can be viewed worldwide. Be seen on WHPR Detroit Live, Comcast Cable Channel 91, on the web at TV33WHPR.com, with the TV33 app, on Roku, Google TV, Apple TV, and on Amazon Fire TV. Act now. Time slots are limited. Sign up today and get a free replay with the purchase of your time slot. For more information, call 313-868-6612. Visit our studios and receive a free TV interview to promote your business, church, or organization by appointment only.
Fake Friends. Behind the scenes of the new dance show. Written by Mike Matthews.
Talking about my friends. How many of us are real friends?
Hey, it's LaWanda. Guess what? I'm going to be on radio and TV. I want you to be with me every Wednesday between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m. You and I, right here, WHPR TV 33.
It's Fake Friends. Written by Mike Matthews. Behind the scenes of the new dance show.
I'm going to give you the updates on this new sitcom entitled Fake Friends. I'm going to have my real friends with me on my show. I'm talking about Mr. R.J. Watkins and none other than Mr. Henry Tyler.
The sitcom Fake Friends.
I'm going to dish the dirt whose baby is that as I sip my teeth.
Who you calling fake?
Can we all just get along?
I'm minding my business. I'm just telling yours.
The new sitcom Fake Friends. Only on 107.3 FM. WVIE Virgin Islands. Simulcasting on Comcast, Channel 91 and TV 33.
Good morning, welcome to Richard Harrison Morning Show. My name is Richard Hairston. I want to thank you for joining me today. 868-0351, 868-0342, and 868-4336. Give us a call. A couple of things we want to talk about this morning. Of course, I'm pretty sure it was totally unavoidable if you were watching television on yesterday to not take in some of the memorializing remembrances of the horrific occurrence on 9/11, and I think this is the 15th anniversary. So I'm sure, like most folks, we take it in. I don't know what I was doing on yesterday. Normally I sit through the whole occurrence where these airplanes were flying into these buildings. So I guess I was tied up on yesterday. Didn't catch it. Maybe in the first year. Doesn't that sound a little morbid to want to relive and go through that whole process over and over again? But on yesterday, there were all of these memorials. Of course, we're talking about the two planes that flew into the Twin Towers in New York City, the one that went down in Pennsylvania. And then, of course, the plane that actually flew into the Pentagon. So, I mean, a lot of stuff associated with it. I guess what came out of it, if you're talking about a sort of new bit of information that occurred, and it was Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump that supposedly, well, I guess they really did, suspend their campaigning on yesterday in honor of the 9/11 event. And Hillary Clinton became ill. I guess it was said she was dehydrated, and I guess she had a bit of problem with the heat. Went to her daughter's house. You know, these folks right there in Manhattan. They may be in Trump's one of Trump's buildings. Well, I doubt it. But she apparently went to her daughter's, and I guess in a matter of a very short amount of time, she managed to come back out looking spry and like she was ready to really go home and rest, actually. But there's this thing where she's actually quite wobbly, and as though she's almost fainting as she's leading the memorial service and getting into her automobile. Now, one of the things that I guess makes this somewhat newsworthy is that Donald Trump has really been talking about Hillary Clinton does not have the energy and the rigor and I guess the power to make America great again. I guess it's really how he's characterized it, because for some reason, I guess he seems to want to suggest that she's had these problems, these health issues. But it's very, very similar to, I guess, the claim that he made even against the former Bush governor of Florida, that he was not energetic and really could not meet I guess, the rigors of and the demand that's really required to really be a good president. And if you're like me and you kind of watch this thing, it doesn't have to be a cursory kind of a thing, but as you watch it as it kind of develops, you see how presidents age, and it's seemingly, it's like in dog years, how a president's age. It is amazing when you think about, and when you see some of the old clips of President Obama and how he looked 4 years ago even, but certainly 8 years ago, and then how he looks now, kind of worn, beaten down. Hair is graying. Certainly there was a bit 4 years ago. I think over 50% of his hair is gray now. So, this issue of if you're going to be healthy, if you're going to be mentally tough, physically able to deal with the rigors of the office, then this whole issue of, again, health, and I guess the health of Hillary Clinton specifically, because Donald Trump's doctor wrote that, he was, he had extraordinary health, I think it was, just a sort of perfect specimen. I mean, for a guy that's, 74 years old? My goodness. That's one of the issues I think that's going to be rather interesting to see how it develops going forward. I guess the bottom line is that Hillary Clinton's doctor, Secretary of State, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's doctor, indicated that she was maybe has a bout of what maybe you and I have come to know as walking around pneumonia. Well, that seems to be what that issue is, and perhaps no more. There's a case out of Lansing, and I guess it's a DNA, kind of what we've associated with the Innocence Project, where now they're able to do these testings. I think this guy may have been convicted in 1984, and now he seems to perhaps have a reprieval, because it does appear that the DNA of, I guess, one of his victims, I guess the main victim, that he was actually convicted of being a serial rapist. But the individual, I guess, the focus of the major case, it appears that DNA exonerates him, which is kind of interesting. I think that there was a bit of semen that was recaptured, or that was captured, is what I should say, on a corset that one of his victims were actually wearing, a corset. I guess that kind of gives it out if you're looking for clues about what were the ages of these women. This guy's 50 some odd years old. I've been in jail for some time now. I had to be a little younger, but apparently he was raping women twice his age, anywhere from 83, 84, 88, supposedly, and allegedly was his oldest victim. My goodness, here's someone who is preoccupied, focused somehow on raping seniors. And I guess I'm inclined to think that it becomes this issue of power and fear. That supposedly is the basis of it, isn't it? That these women would be so fearful and so shamed and so, I guess, easily I guess attained, I guess whatever that kick is of wanting to rape some as a senior individual, which is just extraordinary. But you can just imagine what a senior would feel. Well, I don't know if I can imagine it or not, or you, of what it would be like for a senior. My goodness, 83, 84, 85, 88 years old, actually going through this kind of situation. 868-0351, 868-0342, and 868-4336. You know, we can kind of talk about a number of things, whatever's on your mind. We have this presidential race that's actually moving forward. Hillary Clinton indicated in the speech on Friday, I think it was, that Donald Trump has this basket of deplorables. She said that half of his supporters could be put into these baskets, or this basket of deplorables. And I guess she's talking about the racists and the sexists and the homophobics and the folks, xenophobics, folks who are afraid of foreigners. And she's indicating that, you know, you have this strange mix of individuals that really are those folks that black people have been really closely battling for many, many years to actually shift the, I guess, the focus, shift the arc maybe of to a level of understanding, or to help other individuals to understand what it is that black people go through. And some of it has occurred. You know, you have the things that occurred in the Great Society from Lyndon Johnson, Voters' Right Act, and I guess it's just a number of other bits of legislation that affect housing and really some other kinds of things. Well, you have I guess a number of these kinds of situations that by way of, again, the civil rights movement, that has shifted somewhat. Then you had, and this maybe represents the Donald Trump generation, and you have this so-called straw man, really, but this so-called angry white man. And, you know, this image, you know, has been put forward, and it really stops civil rights in its tracks. Civil rights as it relates to people of color really stops it dead in its tracks. And you have these white men, and Donald Trump really representing, I guess, in his earlier years, in the years where he flirted with the newspapers and programs in New York, where I guess one of the main examples would be the individuals, the Central Park rapist, as they were characterized, and these were these 5 individual black young men that were accused of raping this woman, this white woman, in Central Park. Donald Trump took an expensive middle page ad, full page ad, in one of the dailies, extremely expensive ad, talking about again, these rapists, and these individuals should really experience the death penalty. And this is just a businessman in New York, but he puts this ad in one of these dailies. Now, DNA ultimately exonerated these 5 individuals. They spent some time in jail. And Donald Trump argued, well, even though they were falsely accused and convicted, the city should not pay them for the inconvenience and for the pain that they have caused in their lives. But that was the classic example of this angry white male. Is really what Donald Trump seemingly represented. But then I guess that kind of attitude helped to create this sort of platform, this area where he connected so easily with some of these strange groups, racist groups. A month ago, had you ever heard of the alt-right? If it's anything that we say has come out thus far of this discussion and the candidacy of Donald Trump, really is the alt-right. And these folks who troll the internet, and they gather folks and they spew all of this venom. I believe like these are the folks that when you have Gabby Douglas who does this extraordinary physical feats during the Olympics, two Olympics, and in each one, she's attacked. She's attacked because she didn't put her hand over her heart. During one of the victory celebrations in Rio this time around, she was actually skewered because she didn't put her hand over her heart. And then they reopened this whole issue of her hair. Can you imagine this? Now, I believe that you have these alt-right groups that are out here, and they have a presence on the internet, and at every opportunity, I mean, you can see them from city to city. Just look at some of these stories that are in our dailies here in Detroit, or even on the internet. But just more specifically, the dailies here in Detroit. And if there is an issue that is oftentimes discussed, we saw it with what was Detroit sort of pushed into bankruptcy, or was it justified? And so you had this argument, that was really being published on the internet as it relates to these stories that appear in the newspapers on a day-to-day basis, that ultimately seem to have this tinge of racism associated with it. And what comes out is that, and it is clearly a bolt of lightning that all of these folks appear to want to ride into this discussion with, and that is, can black folks handle their own affairs? Can black folks govern themselves? Now, that has been an issue that appeared to dominate the actions and attitudes of the legislature, and including the Democratic Party, because we saw no major action that actually came from any other source outside of those in Detroit that were willing to fight, to actually fight back this notion that black folks did, in fact, really have the ability to govern themselves. Well, but this is the kind of attitude that ultimately all of these issues shifted to. And I believe that, these gnomes that sit in the darkness, and they're trolling on the internet, and they're looking for issues to jump on that really reflect this attitude that black people are inferior even yet. Black people are certainly don't have the ability in the case of Detroit to really govern themselves. And with the case of maybe Gabby Gifford, not Gabby Gifford, Gabby, did I forget her name just that fast? Here's a young lady who has done this extraordinary work in 2 Olympics, and we want to talk about her hair. So they also shift the focus away from this extraordinary accomplishment in order to sully somehow this superior work that's been done. And really, you talk about somebody who's able to accomplish something in the Olympics. Well, they have worked extraordinarily hard all their lives in order to get to this point. Now, caller, just 1 second, and you're invited to call us. We'll have a couple more lines available: 868-0351, 868-0342, and 868-4336. Back to this issue of rape. Over the course of 3 months, I think the police reported that there have been 200 rapes in Detroit starting back from June 1st to August 30th, 31st. Extraordinary. And I wonder what that is. I mean, I almost find it hard to believe. But apparently, if we accept what they have actually rendered newsworthy, this is supposedly the state of the threat that face women every day in this community. I don't know. But you can't afford to play with it, because if it in fact is happening, and we know that there were just literally thousands of rape kits that went unresolved, uninvestigated here in Detroit, but across the country. But specifically here in Detroit, and it speaks to this attitude as it relates to this violation, this extraordinary violation that women seem to have to deal with in a major way. So, but that was the other issue that I wanted to open up, and that's over the course of 3 months. You're looking at 3 women a day, possibly, that are being raped, but 2.5 women. But if it was one, it's too many. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Richard.
Good morning. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, good seeing you again. I went to see Dick Gregory.
I was there.
Oh, wasn't he telling me like a TIS? I like the way he had told us. This is the second time I heard him say that when I went to see him. How you let them tell you was broke, and then they in here nobody comes to a broke city.
and it made the great point, because I guess what he opened up with is that he came to Detroit and was downtown and didn't see nothing but white people, and he said, "Well, white people don't come to a broke city."
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I hate that they let a boule introduce him, because he was one of the ones that didn't have a problem consenting to give away the city.
Well,
I didn't like that at all.
You are talking about Councilman Tate.
Well, of all the people, you got somebody that sold us out, and but that's what racism is about. They come in and they make you the inferior one, tell you what to do, how to do, when to do it. And that's exactly what they did, whatever they was told to do.
And it's really the point that I was making earlier, because I remember the appeals that we made, and I include myself in that, even at the convention. You folks are sitting by, we're talking to the Democratic Party, you folks are sitting by, and these folks have taken away our right for representation. They have taken away, essentially, technically, our right to vote.
Yes, and then, like I said, the bottom line is that the inferior ones have told the superior ones that they were inferior.
And
that's what we had today.
Maybe that's what the plan is. Maybe that's why they destroy education in Detroit.
Exactly,
these folks
because
have been in
they want
charge
to steal all your culture and take away your history as if you never existed, and then to treat you once again as that 3/5 human being. Also, what he said about black-on-black crime, that they got us believing that there's so much black-on-black crime when some of this crime is them trying to take the male's organs.
See,
I thought that was real interesting. People
there was an article.
Stay so distracted.
Well, there was an article that came out in the New York Times that talked about 1.5 million black men that are missing.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's a large number that ended up in prison by way of the Clinton omnibus crime bill. There is, the murders that occur on a day-to-day basis. But we're talking about, my goodness, 1.5 million men. But he also kind of put it in there, well, without a lot of explanation. I regret that you got this organ supermarket, I guess, that's out there.
Yeah,
And
organ
black
trade.
men's organs are the preferential
And the black
item.
male's organs are in demand. That's what he said.
He said
And
that
so that's why it's more missing
even
material.
100 times, even 100 times greater than even the black female. And then I guess kind of a fact that he added to it was when he was talking about a circumcision and why would God bring a child into this world with this skin and he didn't he didn't need it. And then I guess to find that when you talk about skin grafting, you have one circumcision that can create enough skin that I guess could fill up a football field. And apparently it is the skin grafting business that even today would want circumcision to continue.
Okay, well, I just want to put my little 2 cents in this morning before your lines get too Jimmy Jam.
Well, I do appreciate, I appreciate you all the time. Love you to death, actually, and appreciate all your calls. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
All right. Good morning, caller. You on the air?
Hello.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning. I wanted to chime in on this new bill that was passed up there in Lansing that's going to require all of the students to learn about the Jewish Holocaust and the Syrian Holocaust and totally omitted the black folks' Holocaust. How you like that?
That's interesting. But hold it. Don't go too fast. Because you're talking about a Holocaust that would include the capturing of these individuals and kidnapping of these individuals in Africa. Then the horrendous Middle Passage that has actually been estimated to be over 500 million. I guess that may be an exaggerated number, but it talked about the generations that may have been impacted and never had a chance to actually.
The most horrendous in the world history.
So when you talk about numbers, the black so-called Holocaust outstripes all of them. Any other maniacal
and yet that's
genocide.
Not going to be required study. I cannot believe it. I am going to be calling all of the state legislators to ask them to introduce that bill. Don't let that slide by. Everybody, not only black children, but all the children and all the schools in the state need to learn about the black Holocaust. They need to hear it.
And you know what's extraordinary? You look at the number of lives that were lost, for example, in the famine that occurred in Ethiopia. We're talking about millions. Or the famine and death that occurred in the Sudan as separate incidents. And it's numbering in the millions.
That's right.
And we want to talk about
the
Jewish
Holocaust.
and the Syrian. Did you say the Syrian? Did you say the Syrian Holocaust?
Yeah. And see, we got to have our own interests at heart here. We got people sitting down there in Lansing, up there in Lansing, however you want to look at it. They're getting paid to put bills through. How would I be able to sit up there as a state legislator or a senator or whatever you want to call it and let that go by and say, well, wait a minute, you're going to have required learning of all these other people. And like I say, the Jewish Holocaust, we've been hearing about that forever, ever. The Jews take care of their business. They're going to let you know. They have a whole channel on cable. That's a Hitler channel. Okay, you can turn it on right now, and you got Hitler on there.
I believe,
so we heard enough about that.
I believe that every major city has a Holocaust memorial museum. But they do a good job. See, I'm so glad that you characterized it that way, that they handled their business.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, we do have the African American Museum where you do see, the picture of what the slaves went through. But all kids need to learn that. They don't need. In fact, they even changed the name. What they call it, something instead of calling it slavery. What's the new word for it now?
Is there a new word for it? I mean, it escapes me.
I think they called it. Oh God, I can't recall it right now. But Middle Passage, something or something.
Well, certainly that there was a Holocaust that occurred in the Middle Passage. There was a Holocaust that occurred in the molasses sugar trade.
Okay, I think it's called transatlantic
slave trade.
They don't even want to call it slavery.
My goodness. It is amazing, and the thing about it that's so extraordinary. You know, we are talking about something that occurred with these slave these individuals that kidnapped Africans, characterized them as slaves, and we're talking about Simon Legree. We're not talking about Hitler that was in Germany. We're talking about Simon Legree as a sort of straw man representing all of them here in America on these shores.
That's right. That's right. And I would also, when I'm calling these people, these legislators, I would like to see hidden colors incorporated as required for students to see that and read about it, because that's the one that really brings out the truth on this, among other things, Dr. Claude Anderson's books and others out there that really brought these truths out. But I am just appalled. I couldn't believe it. I just found out about it the other day that this thing went through. And I'm going like, well, was everybody there asleep?
They're going to make sure. They're going to make sure that we don't make the same mistake that what this independent candidate Johnson made. See, we will all study and know about Aleppo, I guess, going forward, and. I guess a number of these places where Jews died, and I could give the name of at least two of them, and there are legislators in Lansing who actually have the exact same name of German cities where. So
I mean, I just wanted to bring that out
just for a moment.
This morning, because a lot of people probably aren't aware of this, because I wasn't either. And now that I am livid. I want all kids to know what our people went through, and others too. I mean, there's more people out there that had all these atrocities done to them than just the Jews.
That's right.
Okay? You know what I mean? This is horrible. And that's why people don't understand diversity. They don't understand much about anything, because all we get is somebody else's history over and over and over.
And there we go back to the alt-right. You know, this is why they troll the internet. This is why any time that there is black achievement, there is black accomplishment, that there is this extraordinary achievements that occur with black people, or even those just maniacal, devilish violations. They try to minimize those violations, like in the case of Flint water crisis.
Right.
And they want to spread it out, and
they want
to say that not only Flint, but it's happening all across the country. And then when they want to do it, Black Lives Matter, it ain't Black Lives Matter, it's all lives matter. Well, that's the psychology, and those are the strategies that they use.
Right.
And this is the alt-right. These are these individuals who are in support and who gather in support of Donald Trump. These are the baskets of deplorables.
It is deplorable. So I advocate, and I am imploring other people, call your state legislators and tell them, look, don't sit up there and let them run that game. You are in a job to produce bills. That's what we pay you to do, to go up there and do that. Can't you get up off your butts and produce a bill, write a bill to say, let's put the black Holocaust in the history books.
You got Arab Americans that can lobby such that we should know about Aleppo.
That's right.
And Auschwitz with Jews, but not one the Holocaust associated with
legislator has said a word. Now I want to know why. I've had it. I'm sick of this. Yeah, what is the point of us voting these people in to go up there and make excuses because it's not enough of them? It doesn't take but one person
I hate to think that this is
to produce a bill. It doesn't take a group.
You don't know nothing, you can't do nothing. Ma'am, thank you so much for your call. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for letting me air.
I got a couple of folks online. I got one folks that's kind of online. I want you to stay with me. I want to take a quick break. I do want to bring in a guest real quick. We're going to talk about something that I think is special that's going on today. So we want to talk about that, and then we're going to come back and just resume taking our phone calls. So let me take a quick break.
Fake Friends. Behind the scenes of the new dance show. Written by Mike Matthews.
Talking about my friends. How many of us are real friends?
Hey, It's LaWanda. Guess what? I'm going to be on radio and TV. I want you to be with me every Wednesday between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m. You and I, right here, WHPR TV 33.
It's Fake Friends, written by Mike Matthews. Behind the scenes of the new dance show.
I'm going to give you the updates on this new sitcom entitled Fake Friends. I'm going to have my real friends with me on my show. I'm talking about Mr. R.J. Watkins and none other than Mr. Henry Tyler.
The sitcom Fake Friends.
I'm going to dish the dirt whose baby is that as I sip my tea.
Who you calling fake?
Can we all just get along?
I'm minding my business. I'm just telling yours.
The new sitcom Fake Friends. Only on 107.3 FM. WVIE Virgin Islands. Simulcasting on Comcast, Channel 91 and TV 33.
Thank you for helping us give our children a leg up on earning college credit.
For helping to support more than 70,000 students annually.
For supporting cultural exchange programs.
Thank you for participating in our community councils.
For supporting free education opportunities for seniors.
For supporting early childhood development programs.
For supporting our millage and our mission.
Thank you for making WCCCD a part of your lives.
Dr. John Telford, the DPS superintendent appointed by Detroit's old democratically elected school board, is running for the new one. John Telford is a former world-class athlete and longtime civil rights crusader. Hear John Telford Sundays at 3 on AM 1200 and elect him to the school board on November 8th. Dr. John Telford. This message was paid for by the committee to elect John Telford to the school board.
Thought of that. Pretty good. Oh, welcome back, folks. This is the Richard Harrison Morning Show. Thank you so much for joining us. I got a couple of folks on the line. I need you to be a little patient with me for a minute. I do have a guest in this morning that we want to talk about. Have you ever heard of moving wheels on Monday? I mean, I have a hard enough time moving my feet on Mondays, but moving wheels on Monday. I've been joined by Rihanna. How do I pronounce that?
Rihanna.
See, I want to pronounce it like it appears, Rihanna. I'm not even going to ask her last name because if your name is Rihanna, then you don't need a last name. Is that right?
You don't.
Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you for having us.
You actually work right down the street. Is it Highland Park?
It is.
Sneth Camp,
yep, Bill Sneth
Chrysler Jeep is in Highland Park. Right up the street.
Yep, right up the street.
We could jog over there.
You
could jog over there. Your mother who's in the studio, she looked like she could jog over there. But this is where Moving Wheels Monday actually comes from. What is that about?
So Moving Wheels Monday just means pretty much anybody can get a car today. If you come in today only, whether you have a recent repo, whether you have bad credit, no credit, whether you get paid in cash, we have banks that are actually sitting at the dealership this morning ready to do instant approval.
They are at the dealership.
They are at the dealership.
Why are we just learning about that? You gave a list of folks that who would qualify, may not have qualified previously in other attempts to get a vehicle, a used or new vehicle. Is that right?
That is true. We have.
But you mentioned I qualify for all of those repos and bad credit and what else did you say? Formerly incarcerated. You didn't say that, but
well, if you get paid in cash, some people might be bartenders or waitresses, or they have their own businesses.
Dope. I shouldn't say that.
I didn't say it.
We don't want folks with underground currency.
No, I mean, it's just
just don't come with more than $9,000. All right.
Cash. We have our special finance manager Jefferson, who I personally call him the yes man because he makes everything happen for anyone. I personally got my vehicle through him.
Okay.
My brother got his vehicle through him. My mom got her vehicle through him. I have a friend that got her vehicle through him. That's just standalone right there. That was 4 vehicles, I think, within like a week.
So
So
you
he
were
makes it happen.
you were the number one salesperson that week, obviously, and your family looked
I
out.
think so.
But again, if you want a car,
Come in today.
and you can demonstrate that you have a certain level of income, steady income, is that really?
If you come in with cash, you come in. Actually today you could drive with 0 down. So Moving Wheels Monday also specializes in you come today, you sign today, you drive off today, and for a lot of people it's 0 down.
I'm down with 0 down.
Yep. So just make sure that you call, and you must. I repeat, you have to ask for our special finance manager Jefferson. His number is. You guys have the pen and paper ready, handy. You ready? Okay, the number is 248-971-8954, and you must, I repeat, ask for Jefferson. He is the special finance manager, and he will make it happen for you.
Rihanna didn't know that we actually would give this number out more than once. That is 248. 971-8954. And that if you're in the market for a car, if you have cash or a discernible income. You even look like it ain't gotta be that discernible.
Honestly, if you come in today, just come in. We literally have banks on site. They will be there all day starting at 9 a.m.
Okay.
You will get instantly approved.
So we have folks who are out in a number of communities. I think there may be like 36 different communities that we are connected to by way of cable.
Okay.
Certainly here in Highland Park and TV33 in Detroit. But individuals, if they want to get to you, just quickly, what would be the direction? If they were coming out the lodge, for example, riding down Northwestern Highway, how would they find you?
You would take, if you were coming from the lodge, you would take the lodge to Davison. And when you come up on Davison, you will merge back onto Davison East. Once you come off of West, come up at Woodward, make a left, maybe less than a mile down, and you're at the dealership. Right on your right-hand side. That
would be on the west side of the street for folks who are direction challenged, like I am. But there are just huge deals that are taking place today.
Huge deals. Also, we specialize in helping Chrysler workers. So if you work for Chrysler, come down today. We have special deals for you as well.
They can not only help themselves, can they still help their family? Can the family take advantage of what is it, the Chrysler special employee?
There's the employee discount plan.
Okay.
I think you can have up to like 3 family members or something like that. But yep, for them, their family members, just come down today and we can make it happen for you.
You have bankers there today.
Today on site. I mean, you don't hear this often where you have banks that are actually sitting there ready to approve you. I mean, that's just mind blowing to me. So come down, give us a try. I promise you, you will sign and drive today.
Again, if you want to get a bit more information, you want to call Mr. Jefferson. That's J.L. Jefferson. And that number is 248-971-8954. That's right down the street on Woodward, and that's at Smith Camp. Yes, Bill Smith Camp.
Yes, Bill Smith Camp. And we also encourage you to visit our website at www.billsmithcamp.net to view our huge inventory.
And just keep in mind, it is J.L. Jefferson that actually is referring you.
Yes.
So somebody, if you've been thinking about a Jeep.
I recently got a Jeep. I purchased a Jeep. And I love it.
So if you'd like to get a Jeep, today would be the great day to actually do it. You'd be the first black woman I've seen in a Jeep. Maybe the first black person I've seen in a Jeep. So that's a good thing, right?
So come on, join the Jeep crew. It's a nice
my son just purchased a Jeep, actually.
Okay.
And he loves it. They're used cars as well.
They are used cars, new and used. So wherever your budget is, wherever you're trying to stay, I mean, it's amazing to me how he literally makes it happen. I went in, I told him the range I wanted to stay in with my monthly payment,
really?
The kind of vehicle that I wanted, and he kept me where I wanted to be.
With a name like Rihanna, I wouldn't expect anything less. You dropped the mic today. I want to take a quick break. Again, you want to call J.L. Jefferson. That's over at 248-971-8954. That's 971-8954. Now, you get these deals by asking for Mr. Jefferson. Mr. Jefferson. So, by all means, give him a call today. Today is the day. The bankers are sitting there. I mean, they're probably going to drink so much coffee and smoke so many cigarettes today because, they're going to be making these deals and they're going to be kind of stretching it a bit to make sure everybody can walk away with a car.
They will be there
Jeep.
all day.
My goodness, a Jeep.
Challengers, Chargers, the new 200s, 300s, sports, regulars.
Oh, my goodness.
Anything you can think of, it is on the lot. I mean, the inventory is huge.
If you're a millennial and you want a Jeep to drive to the beach and then one of these little fast sports cars, we got to take a break. Rihanna, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
We certainly appreciate you. We want to take a quick break, and then we'll be back, and we'll take your phone calls.
Thank you for helping us give our children a leg up on earning college credit.
For helping to support more than 70,000 students annually.
For supporting cultural exchange programs.
Thank you for participating in our community councils.
For supporting free education opportunities for seniors.
For supporting early childhood development programs.
For supporting our millage and our mission.
Thank you for making WCCCD a part of your lives.
Welcome back, folks. I got some folks on the line. I'm going to come to you and just right away, actually. I almost forgot. I'm celebrating today. Today is my 65th birthday. My goodness, 65 today. Isn't that amazing? I can't believe I've made it to 65. I made it when I got a red, white, and blue card. And this time you get to be 65, you'd be thinking a milestone is getting free health insurance. Man. You've invited to call 868-0351, 868-0342, and 868-4336. Welcome back, caller. Thank you for being so patient. Thank you so much.
Well, happy birthday from all of me to you. I wish it was my birthday so I could party too.
Theo Broughton, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Happy birthday.
It's so nice to have someone. I mean, you're a real legitimate singer. I mean, a colorature in your own right, and and you sang my birthday. You sang my birthday.
Ballads and jazz, and I enjoy it. It's something good for stress relief in this community where we live and all the crazy things that are going on.
Man.
And I sing with a couple of bands, and it's fun, All my children are grown and off to see the wizard and doing their own thing, so now I'm doing mine.
That sounds so good. That sounds so good.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. And a lot of fun.
All right.
But I was calling in on the previous conversation that you were having. I attended a meeting at Sacred Heart Seminary over there on Linwood in Chicago a few years ago. And it was a round table of Christian Jews, and they had added Arabs. And during this meeting, I mentioned the word Holocaust. And there was a Jewish man sitting across the table. I thought he was going to jump over the table on me. He got highly upset, insulted, so angry. How dare you use the word Holocaust?
That's amazing.
As if the Jews own that word. So I'm sure that it is something that is needed to be added to the legislation that has already passed. But you're going to catch hell trying to get that word used. It's sad that there's not an understanding that pain just as horrific could happen to other ethnic groups besides theirs. And they want
a monopoly on the word.
I'm not bothered at all that they tell their story. They have Holocaust museums in Washington D.C. and they've got one in Southfield, and I'm sure many other places.
Major city in the country.
However, we have, recently, in recent decades, been establishing our own museum, and there's one that's going to be open in Washington, D.C. about the African and African American experience,
Theo.
which is excellent.
Theo, I got 2 minutes. Are you going to be here at 9 o'clock today?
Yes, sir.
Guest?
And Paul Bridgewater is my guest this morning.
Say that again. Who?
Paul Bridgewater.
Oh, that sounds exciting. Theo, thank you so much.
All right.
Good morning, caller. You on the air?
Good morning. I agree with Theo. The thing is, Dr. Small was talking about how Africans use past lives to determine what purpose the baby should be. You know, reading history, if we don't read our own history, we won't even be on the road to actually experiencing our past lives. Or I should say it's easier once we read our own history instead of reading everybody else's, because in terms of past lives, you are recycled back, ancestors are recycled back into this particular life.
That is interesting. It's a conversation I think we need to have one day, because it is another kind of philosophy. And it speaks. It is interesting when you characterize it when you put it in the context of the slave experience. But let me see when I get this last caller in. Caller, you're on the air.
Richard, happy birthday yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
I appreciate that.
Have a great day.
Thank you so much. Gotta go, folks. Thank you for being with us today. God bless you. I will see you this Wednesday. There's a major article in the paper today talking about the Flint water crisis. I mean, these folks, for the rest of the year, they'll still be using filters and bottled water. Amazing. God bless you.
You're watching W33BY, Detroit, Highland Park, Michigan.